Good morning, St. Francis, and good morning, people of God. It is Wednesday, the 13th day of April, 2022, Wednesday of this sixth week of Lent, this half week of Lent, actually, but more importantly, Wednesday of Holy Week. Coming to you from the front of the Rectory Friary, the dogwood's still in bloom, the Japanese maple's coming into bloom, quite a lovely scene in our front during the springtime. It will be warm today, again, it'll be in the 80s, unfortunately, a little too warm for Father, but it's supposed to clear a little bit, and by this weekend, Holy Saturday, temperature should become more manageable and be lowered and what have you. So on this Wednesday of Holy Week, traditionally known since the Middle Ages at least, as Spy Wednesday, because the gospel reading for today from Matthew is about Judas going to the chief priests and the elders and deciding to betray Jesus for a sum of money, the 30 pieces of silver. The gospel in Matthew then switches to the preparation for the Passover feast, the Last Supper that it will become, and Jesus sitting as he's eating with the disciples and predicting Judas to betray him as the one who dips his hand into the bowl with me. And again, what is that about? It's about dipping the bitter herbs into the, dipping the bitter herbs into some kind of salt water or something like that. That was to recall, in some ways, the bitterness of slavery, the bitterness of oppression in Egypt. Again, the salt, bitter herbs would have existed in Jesus' time. Would it have been exactly like that as it is today in the Passover Seder? Maybe yes, maybe no. Again, scholars always debate exactly what went into the Passover Seder in Jesus' time, and what it became, throughout the ages and today. But anyway, Judas's betrayal is predicted, and again, the sadness of this, that in the relationships that Jesus tried to make with these individuals, there is one that is broken, and one that will become broken beyond repair, and that will lead to even more sadness for Judas, again, who decides to take his life after he recognizes the fact that he has betrayed not just someone he was afraid of, but betrayed a friend. And again, that is where the tragedy leads us to, and where we stop sort of in reflection on what all of this can mean, if any meaning can be gained from it. Not the same with Peter. There will be, again, a reconciliation that happens, even though Peter doesn't realize it, or even Peter fights against it unknowingly. But the sense of this sadness of a friendship that falls apart, which is really what is going on. It is not Judas being a pawn of Satan. It is not Judas, being born for this act. It is a friendship that has fallen apart. And the question is always, what do we do with friendships that fall apart? Is there any way to salvage them? Is there any way to bring them back together again? Or must they pass into other things and our lives continue? Again, does Jesus, we never know anything more about Judas. We never know anything more about his character or what he was like, as one of the 12 walking with Jesus all of those 3 years throughout all of Palestine. Was he always antagonistic? Was he always bitter? Or was there something else to this man? Again, to make judgments on Judas because of one act is incorrect, which is why he does not belong in hell. Contra to Dante and the Divine Comedy and the Inferno, where Judas is one of the people in Satan's mouth or whatever. That cannot be so easily the decision that is made. There is something that happens to him that perhaps even Jesus does not recognize, or recognizes and allows it to play its course. The understanding is always that there was healing that Judas unfortunately decided not to take. Again, our choices decide who and what we are, and our choices don't always need to be directed in only one way. There are many ways in which our choices can give us, and even after we make a choice, there are thousands of other choices that follow after that may divert us from a choice that may not have been as good as it could have been, or as it should have been. That is the wonder and dynamic of being made in the image and likeness of God, that our choices are innumerable, that our choices can lead to both things that are challenging and difficult, but also lead to glory and wonder. And they are always laid before us. To forget that robs us of our humanity, robs us of our dignity, and makes a mockery of us being the image and likeness of God. May we, as we move through this through the second to last day of Lent, and begin to move into the Sacred Triduum tomorrow, recognize the choices that we have made, and make sure that what we do decide in life offers us hope, well-being, happiness, and all of the good that God can give us. And may the Lord give you his peace.